Hello, in this video today, we will be exploring classroom discussion. So, why does classroom discussion matter? There's a lot of value to be had from classroom discussion. It's going to expose you to content that may not be covered in the reading. You're going to be exposed to other examples and other resources and readings that others in the class have been exposed to that you may not have read already yourself. Additionally, you'll be able to get clarification of concepts because different people will have different perspectives. You'll be able to understand things in new ways and understand them, therefore, more deeply. You'll be able to make more connections to other things and other experiences. In fact, because of the diverse perspectives in the classroom, you're going to be able to hear a lot of new ideas and get exposed to a lot more material in that way as well. Additionally, you're going to be given an opportunity to ask questions during the discussion. So, how do you go about having a successful academic discussion? Well, there's a number of components, and we will list them here on this slide, and then we're going to go through them one by one. First, you need to make sure that you are being mindful of your language. You also need to seek answers, insist on evidence based argumentation, and support your own claims. Lastly, you need to demonstrate respect, logic, and coherence. So, first, what does being mindful of your language mean? It doesn't just mean to not use harmful language, it means more than that. It means to use vocabulary, terms, and terminology of the course content you are learning. This has a lot of benefits. First, it's going to reinforce the vocabulary for yourself because the more you use it, the more you are going to ingrain it into your memory. Another added benefit of using those vocabulary terms is that you're on a common ground and everyone is using the terms in the same way. So, what that means is for terms that are not necessarily vocabulary of the course, you want to make sure that you're defining those terms, especially for things that might be a little abstract. Within the classroom, it's important that you seek answers. So, that means first that you come to class prepared with questions on areas that you don't understand. So, flag those areas in your notes or in the textbook or have a list. This also means that during the course of a discussion in class, that if something is said that you don't really understand, you should ask for more information. Here are some suggestions for ways to ask someone to explain something you don't understand. You can say, "Can you explain that in a slightly different way for me?" Or, "Can you tell me more about what you mean by that?" Or, "When you said XYZ, I understood. But when you got to ABC, I started to get a little confused. Can you go over that part again?" Part of that asking for clarification means you will be insisting for evidence based argumentation. And that means for any position that is offered up in the classroom, it should be grounded in some sort of evidence, which means it needs to be able to be backed up from the textbook, articles, the news, or a personal experience or someone that you personally know. But that also means for your own claims, not only do you insist upon it from your classmates, but it's important that you provide them yourself. That's the flip side of that last point. You have to hold yourself accountable. And that means that you come to class prepared, you take notes in your text so that you can find that evidence, and you have things marked. But while you're doing this, it is really easy to get caught up in an argument or debate and start to lose our heads, especially when we become passionate about things. But it is really important in a classroom setting and outside of it to make sure we are demonstrating respect, logic, and coherence. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that, first of all, attacking individuals is a logical fallacy. So, that's going to undermine all of your credibility. So, you want to make sure that what you do is focused on the argument. You can ask yourself these kinds of questions so that you're not focusing on a person. Does the claim make sense and is it reasonable? If it's not reasonable, why not? And if there's a hard gap in the argument, what are those? Lastly, is this evidence credible and is it sufficient? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.